welcome to a Witchy Bitch Energy Update. This is a new series I'm starting because I feel guided to, and it's the time. And I'm going to start giving you updates about what I am getting, the downloads I'm getting, and what's going on in my own life, how it relates to the collective. Because what I've ultimately found is that whatever's going on with me is usually what's going on with you guys. Whatever I sense and feel is generally what everybody else is going through. And so I'm just going to speak to this so that we can all kind of go through it together and help heal each other together, work through our issues together, and hopefully become our best selves, right? That's what we all want. We want to be our best selves. And that's what I want, and that's what I want for you. So let's do this. So today I want to talk about boundaries. And I know that everybody talks about boundaries all the time. And it's kind of a played out subject, but it's, for me personally, being a witchy woman and an empath, boundaries have been the single hardest thing for me in my entire life. And, you know, I grew up in a house where it was like wild women. We kind of never had any rules. My dad was in the rock and roll business and in Los Angeles. And, you know, we just kind of were free. And it's taken me years that kind of formulated that, alongside being super empathic, super psychic, super witchy, but never having an outlet for it, kind of created this place within me where I had never had boundaries with anything. And it's taken me years, to the point where I'm at today, to learn how to create them in my own life, but on a deeper level, to energetically create them, because that's really what I want to speak about today. Because, you know, it's one thing if we're in the age of Aquarius now, right? We're making all these changes. We're coming out of this shit show year of 2020. And we're like, okay, I'm going to make boundaries. I'm going to start, I have to make these boundaries in order to, fortify my energy and to move forward with the things in my life. Because certain things or places or people or whatever are sucking my energy. And so, yes, we do that. We say, you put up a boundary and you say, you can't call me anymore to somebody or something like that, right? Or you cannot come into my house to someone, right? But if on the other side of that, because you're super empathic and super sensitive, you're heaving and hawing and feeling incredibly guilty and bad about that decision, you're really not putting up any energetic boundary at all. Those people, that thing, whatever you are putting up the boundary against, still has you. It's as if you're still with their energy. It's as if you're still completely intertwined. And this is really what I've realized, because I've put up boundaries with people because I'm supposed to, because it's what I need to do, right, in order to move forward. Yet I think about them and I worry about them. And ultimately, if I were to detach my emotion from them, what I kind of feel on a deep level is that I feel bad. I feel like a bad person if I'm doing that, because in some way, as an empath, and this is for the empaths of the world, those of us that are very psychic, intuitive, sensitive, where it's very, very, very hard. And boundaries are the hardest thing, because you feel bad for that person. And I was kind of going into this recently. I was going into the term feeling bad, because I noticed that, I feel bad for a lot of people. And, or especially people that I put up boundaries with. And just think about that. Think about that term. I feel bad for this person. You're literally saying, I am feeling bad for them, which means I am taking on the energetic weight of whatever pain they are going through. And this is why, a lot of people who are narcissistic seek out empathic people, sensitive people, because sensitive people literally, they have such a hard, they're sponges, and we pick up on all the energy. So if somebody's suffering or hurting, which a lot of narcissists are, which most of humanity is, right? Let's just be real, right? This world is rough, right? But whatever relationships we're in, we really can pick up on whatever pain that person is going through, and we can really, really absorb it. And, I think that I've gotten to a point within my own life where I've realized that this is not helping me. This feeling bad for literally feeling bad for someone is actually not helping me at all. All it's doing is I'm taking on the energetic weight for them. And what needs to happen, really, what needs to happen, and for all of humanity to move forward, is that person needs to deal with their shit. And I found that when we feel bad for people, it's an energy where we're giving them our energy in this silent way, and we're helping them, we're assisting them, we're guiding them, and they themselves are not doing the work, which actually paralyzes them, and it creates these deeply imbalanced systems, which is why the empaths of the world, the witches of the world, that are the sensitive ones, are generally the ones that feel very worthless. Because we're doing a lot of the energetic work for people, and we're kind of in this spiral of constantly feeling bad for people, for ourselves. It's kind of this addiction to, it goes all the way back to like, if I sacrifice myself, if I give myself, I'm good. What would it mean if I were to put up a boundary? It would mean that I was bad. If I didn't take on the weight for this person, it would mean that I was bad. This is my own energetic understanding of this and what I've been realizing lately. And now that we're kind of entering this new era, you guys, I'm kind of like, I think it's time. It's time, this energy of Aquarius, the age of Aquarius. It's, Aquarius, I've been thinking about the ultimate Aquarians, right? I've been going down this Oprah rabbit hole, and not in the way that like, yes, of course, I love Oprah. Everybody loves Oprah, but in the way where I like to study her, because she's an ultimate Aquarian. She is really, and I've studied how, she's had the roughest life, molested, raped, pregnant by the age of 14, raped at 9 years old, molested continuously, and then pregnant at 14. Like, and look at where she is. She grew up in the slums of Mississippi. And I've watched her, and it's really about detaching herself from the not being overly empathic. Because what happens is when you become overly empathic and you get over involved, you cannot separate yourself. You can actually not make an individual being. You cannot make you cannot actually know where you start and something else ends or begins. And therefore it's very hard to accelerate or move forward or develop a personality, a persona, a sense of self. And so there has to be within, and she's extremely empathic, extremely witchy. And, there has to be this point where we say, I'm not going to take this on for you anymore. It's your issue. It's your problem. This is what a boundary is. And this is essentially this is the deeper energies of refracting projection. That's what the shadow is, right? We are constantly, all of us, projecting our shit because we have this deep wounding inside because we were made fun of, or our family didn't love us, or we were abused, or whatever. We internalized that. We weren't able to be our full authentic selves. And so when we see other people that are doing the things that we are not allowing ourselves to do for whatever reason, we get jealous, we get angry, we lash out, we project, we put them down, we put them up, we put them on pedestals, right? And it's all about, and that's called projection. And so the only way to begin to reclaim that energy, that thing that you're putting on to everybody else, is to create these boundaries with our closest relationships in our lives. And so, I'm really starting to really go into this energy and to think about this on a deeper level. And, there's a couple ways that you can, this is really about being vigilant and being extraordinarily vigilant with your energy and prioritizing your own energy. It's really about, a boundary can only actually truly exist when we actually all decide to let go of feeling bad about putting up the boundary. Because that's what happens to me. I've put up boundaries, and then I feel really bad about them, and then I'm still totally intertwined with the person because I'm thinking about them all the time because I feel so bad that I put up this boundary. And this time that's coming, it's time for us to stop feeling bad. It's time for us to prioritize our energy, prioritize our own energy field, and begin to focus. So this means that we have to begin to really learn how to detach. And you say, okay, how do I detach? How do I detach from feeling bad for someone? The first way I would say would be, I don't know if you guys have an altar. This is what I teach. I teach people how to basically connect to their highest spiritual self and claim their own witch power to become their own channels of their own highest living in their lives. But, it's really about having an altar that and creating a kind of prayer practice where you can integrate the shadow. You can begin to face the guilt that you are feeling and reconciling with it and allowing yourself to grieve for how bad you actually feel, the pain, facing the pain of having to say no to this person and what that actually means. And ultimately, giving this pain back to spirit, back to the divine, back to the universe, back to God, whatever you want to call it, and allowing it to be, because you have to ultimately believe that you are doing the right thing, that you've been called to do the right thing, and that this boundary, the energy of this person and you karmically need the boundary in order to evolve. It's the truth. It really is the truth. And so when you begin a prayer practice and you begin to face your own shadow, your own darkness, your own guilt, your own shame, and you begin to process that, then it becomes you're working through it, okay? But that's the thing with shadow work. You don't want to get stuck in this pattern of just feeling bad and guilty and constantly, or not feeling bad and guilty, but constantly working through the pain where you're in this place of grief constantly. It's like the only way out is through with shadow work. So you work through it and then you use your focus. You begin to prioritize your focus, your attention. And you start to pay attention to what you pay attention to. And you start to use your willpower and your vigilance to focus on the things that are really important to you, that are giving you life, that feed you, that make you feel good. And this is the real true path towards developing self-worth and ultimately the path to, obtaining our highest potential and embodying our highest potential. So the three things basically how to detach, because you're putting up a boundary, but if you're still feeling emotionally connected to this person and really bad about that boundary, the boundary's not doing anything. It's about learning how to emotionally detach so that you're not energetically carrying the weight of this person still. And the ways that you can do that are first, pray, sit, meditate, process, allow, grieve, feel how painful it feels to actually do this and put up this wall and put up this boundary, and ask for forgiveness, allow yourself to grieve, ask spirit to assist you in this, travel through the pain, travel through it. After you feel like you've done some deep work with that and you faced it, that's what shadow work is. You're facing the thing that you're avoiding. So in this case, you're avoiding the pain of feeling guilty. So here we're addressing the guilt, we're addressing the shame. We're letting it travel through. After that, you're offering it to God, you're offering it to the divine spirit, the universe, cosmic consciousness, and you're asking for this force to handle this for you so that you now can focus and use your focus, your laser pointed focus towards the projects, the things, and the energies in your life that feed you, that give you energy, that make you feel good. Okay? I think we have a kind of addiction to pain in our culture, especially if you're empathic. We have this addiction to pain where we don't know how to feel good, because if we felt good, because if you're empathic, you're more of a kind of feminine yin energy, which is more of a caretaker energy. And when you're in that energy, to actually have that yang energy of outputting, creating, doing, it's actually having to separate from this deep archetype of having to be the caretaker and getting your worth through caretaking. And so what you're doing is you're actively tearing apart this old energy that is not serving, this old archetype that is not serving you nor anyone else. And you're saying, I'm going to start focusing and putting the energy back on myself. What gives me life? What makes me feel good? What gives me power? These are all the questions. And then you're going to use your willpower to pay vigilance to that focus. It's like my girlfriend and I were talking, and it's like, when you're on a diet or something, right? And you have to pay extra attention really to what you're eating, because your internal normal way is kind of this dysfunctional way where maybe you're emotionally eating, which is, I'm an emotional eater. So I've been really paying a lot of attention lately. I'm using my focus and I'm using my willpower to actively get myself out of these patterns. And this is what we must do with our energy if we want to create true boundaries so that we can ascend and truly embody the highest potential that we came to in this lifetime. So this is my energy update for the week. If you guys have any questions, you can always email me at info@chasebuttice.com, CHASEBUTTICE.com. And I'm excited to answer some questions and to get into some stuff with you guys because this is the time. This is what I feel called to do. And this is what's supposed to happen. So yeah, I'm really excited. I love you all. I hope this helped and have a lovely week.